2, 1. We're live. It's Sam Michael, AsyncVoter Catchup. Yeah, we haven't made any progress on getting votes recorded yet. Last week, Paolo and I paired, and Brent sat in while we added a feature that basically includes what is it called? The numbers 1, 2, and 3 on the buttons, and we kind of, did the entire cycle, and we got the codes and the tests passing on Paolo and Brent's machines. And so, yeah, it's like now going forward, we can start to get stuff done. I think there's an aspect where Paolo's kind of keen to work on things to catch, make things academically correct. And I guess we've got this question about whether should there be multiple votes be allowed in one channel at the same time, and I think ultimately maybe, but I don't feel like we should be in any kind of rush to get that set up. It feels like there's a lot of other stuff that we need to do first. Yeah. Okay, I'm just giving, oh gosh, how do we do that? Just grabbing some data for this guy in autograders. Let me see if I can just give it to him for comparison. I think it's the right one. Blah. Ugh. Yeah, so I kind of, in order to say, I said, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be nice for Paolo to check in, but yeah, I guess he will show up for training for if I arrange a pairing session, he'll kind of show up, but probably not otherwise. Yeah, okay. But yeah, so I mean, I got the what did I get? Let's have a look at the board. Waffle, AsyncVoter. Okay. I updated the icon, although I didn't quite have the one that I wanted. Yeah, so we've got the numeric with the vote button that's on staging, and that seems to have worked. So I think we probably could merge that in and even deploy that to production. That would be a sensible step. Add numerics to buttons and test. Although is our CI failing across the board? Yeah, I think the CI is failing. We don't know why. This is working on staging. It's basically just we've changed the text there. We did a little bit of drying out different places, helped us understand the app. So I'm going to merge that, and that should be a master. And since we don't really have any, do I have async slope command there? Git checkout master, git pull origin master, and we'll npm test that. Yeah. So I guess that the question is, yeah, we've got issues. Yeah, so we were opening different things. I've started on that one. There was gosh, we were all over the place trying to set up, making sure we all have the same node and npm on our things. There's I think the CI problem is maybe that Redis, it doesn't have there. We've got lots of different bits and pieces there. I guess there's an interesting question about what is the priority. We definitely had this issue recently that, if there's an outstanding, if there's a current vote going, starting a new vote will clobber the previous one, which is kind of, it should at least say, oh, hey, you've got an existing vote, finish that before you start this new one. So I think that's sensibly the next step, really, because it's kind of annoying when that happens. Although perhaps, help commands might be the higher priority, but there we go. I mean, in terms of getting it recorded, because Slack, I mean, I would love it to be kind of hitting the 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 previous storage thing that we created, but I don't know that that's the highest priority. Certainly be useful to have that. I mean, even to be feeding into the data mining activity, like if we who's doing the votes. Although presumably they that's it's going to be related to how active they are in Slack.
I did so I guess where are we at? I mean, in terms of like getting the votes, right? Like
Getting the votes stored,
recording the votes, yeah, in some way, basically.
Yeah, I mean they're currently stored in Redis. But what happens?
I understand that, but they get lost.
They get basically we only ever keep the store of the latest vote.
Right.
Like the Redis store is we're indexed on the channel name. So as soon as a new thing comes in,
it's not particularly useful. So, is it that hard to store? Basically, in an ideal world, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'd have a model where we'd say we'd have a ballot or like whatever, like
right.
The idea of introducing a vote, like we would store, say, the information, say who introduced the vote, like who started it in the channel,
right?
Like when they started it, so like a timestamp,
mm-hmm.
right? And basically what the vote was on, like the link or whatever in the text. And then linked up to that would be anybody's vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they voted,
right?
Whether they abstained, and at what time,
right?
That would essentially be like all the relevant information that we could glean. So I guess also we could say who clicks reveal, right?
Right.
Like who resolves the vote at what time. So that would basically be it. Because if we have that information, we can infer certain things, right? There's like additional, if we have like when the vote was started, when people voted, and when it was resolved, like when the vote was over, we could, for instance, infer like whether it was an asynchronous, like whether it was truly an asynchronous vote, or whether it was probably one that happened like in a scrum, right? Based on that time interval.
Timestamps, yeah.
So there's like information that we could draw out of that, basically, potentially.
Right.
That would be in the ideal world. So how hard is that?
Well, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, there's also intermediate steps in which we could just have it so that the we store the stuff in Redis, and instead of indexing it by channel name, we index it by the vote, like URL and the name of it, and then we stored that stuff in Redis. Like, I mean, it's not hard in principle.
Right, but then Redis can like crash or whatever.
Yeah, although it seems pretty robust. Like in all of our usage of it, Redis losing data, it stores stuff to a flat file. Right. So I mean, it doesn't have the same guarantees as a database.
But then, as soon as you, for instance, like redeploy.
No, but even with redeploys, it stays. It's a flat file.
Is that because you're putting it in a? Is this running on Azure?
Yeah.
So is it like kind of persistent, the VM? It's not like Heroku where it like just evaporates into the air, right?
Yeah, as far as I can see.
Okay.
I mean, we're using, I have done deploy. I have started a vote. I've done a deploy, and the vote has still been there.
Okay. I mean, potentially, if we can store that information in Redis, that could be a beginning of something. I mean, just start storing something, I would say.
Yeah.
Sure. Rather than nothing, because we're losing all that data. Basically, we're not collecting it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're definitely. I mean, the data is implicitly there in the message logs of Slack, but it's difficult to extract from that.
Right.
Yeah. So in the background, I just deployed to production, but I'm kind of confused. Like, production still seems to be working, but it's not giving me the numbers. which is very strange. We deployed the branch.
Meanwhile, in the background, I deployed Ada Boost like naively. Yeah. I just kind of used default settings. I didn't even like grid search or anything. And we are performing marginally better.
Oh, there you go.
Like we're up to 0.758 AUC instead of 729.
Okay.
So it's like marginally better.
Yeah, better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Yeah.
And I think it's probably because of the bias, right? I mean, it's gotta be. It's kind of weird that they would be able to, but it's kind of weird that they would be able to have such a heuristic where like 4,000. It's kind of that's got to depend on like what your data, like on the domain. And
well, I mean, you know, but anyway, but they're independently of the specific number 4,000.
Yeah,
there's like lots of features versus smaller number of features.
Right. So obviously 3 is a small number of features.
Right. Exactly.
Almost anything.
Yeah. If we had like 3,560, it would become like that. Anyway, yeah, that's really confusing. Like, as far as I can tell, I have deployed that. Like the tests. Blah, I'm confused. I've got master. The code in master now. If we look at AsyncVoter, God, why does it keep doing this? That's weird. Okay, so my master locally, it doesn't have the numbers there. What have I done here? My origin is that one. Git fetch origin. Okay, for some reason. Git pull origin master. It's saying it's up to date, but the master here, this is our, wait, let's stay, oh, I merged it into staging. Okay. Okay. All right, so the pull request was against staging. No, yeah.
Right.
No, okay. And then git pull origin staging. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So git check out master, git base staging. Okay, git push origin master, and I don't have an automated deploy, so that should deploy it. Okay, yeah. No, well, you make a good point there actually for prioritizing the storage of the data in some form, because we are, yeah, so it's it would be good to have it available.
Right, because right now
we just lose it, and that's I mean,
it may hard to recover it, and certain aspects of it we can't really recover, like when someone actually voted and when the vote was resolved is not really.
No, that's true. Like at the moment we just know who, like it's, yeah. I mean, there's then the thing of like, can we actually get valuable intel from that information? So like the effort put into, you know, acquire it.
I don't think it's that much effort, is it? Really? I mean,
well, it's not that much effort, but it's like things that we don't get paid for, like up front. And there are lots of other things to do that may be much closer to like actually generating revenue. You know, for example, spending time on delivering the Anthony Powell website or what have you. But yeah, I mean, certainly we'll put it into the mix as we consider which features to move on. I mean, it's, you know, it's a question about, you know, does making the async voter user experience more seamless contributes, you know, I mean, one can't predict these things, you know, increase the number of people who might be willing to sign up for premium, or the number of projects that come in, or increase the activity of the community. Anyway.
I mean, we need to, sooner we start collecting the data, it's going to be, sooner we can build, like, sooner we can actually have like substantial number of data points with that feature, right?
Yeah. The sooner we start collecting data, definitely, the sooner we will have more data.
Otherwise, it's kind of just.
Otherwise, it will be later before we have more data.
Which is bad.
Right. Well, I'm going to get a cup of tea. good to check in. Hopefully now, if that's deployed, I should be able to do a quick.
I mean, my intuition is that it's going to be good.
Yes, because you think that if we have that data, that will be very useful in telling us
doing different. Doing different tech tests and stuff.
Yeah.
With real data from real people and companies.
Mm-hmm.
Like timestamp data is often really actually useful data.
Right. Okay. So now,
like when you can actually see, like my intuition is that timestamp data will have a lot of it. It's fairly rich data, like when you can actually record like events.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And the strange thing here is it's actually having got the right thing and having deployed it to master, it's now seems to have completely broken. We're now getting 403 client error. Oh, and is that because, oh, I think I know why that is. So we have to set, I don't know, well, do we have to set that? I think probably there's a special token that I have to set. Okay, yeah, cool. All right, good stuff. Well, I will see you tomorrow, I expect.
All right, bye.
Bye for now.